Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, so today we're doing something a bit different, really customizing this analysis for you if you're stepping into a profession that's as demanding as it is necessary. We're going to skip past the textbook stuff you already know.
Exactly. We're moving straight into the messy reality of practice, right? Where the technical training kind of stops.
Yeah.
Our mission here is to give you a bit of a strategic edge. We've looked at this guide from a really experienced dentist, and we've basically pulled out 3 key pillars for success that you won't find in those textbooks.
Okay, what are they?
First, mastering the human element. Second, navigating the, let's be honest, ruthless business of dentistry. And third, understanding your profession's social contract.
Right, and we should probably just state up front, the stakes are incredibly high here. We're talking about, massive student debt, the psychological stress of making final calls on patient health, and all these disruptive changes like tech and corporate dentistry that are just fundamentally reshaping the job. Strategy isn't just nice to have, it's basically survival now.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's dive into that first pillar, the human element, that internal challenge. You talked about the psychological shift, going from student always having backup to suddenly realizing you are the backup.
You are the safety net.
Right.
Yeah. And that weight, it's real.
Mm-hmm.
And often, the first way it shows up is what people call imposter syndrome.
Which sounds bad.
Well, yeah, but maybe framing it that way is the mistake.
Yeah.
Our sources suggest thinking of it differently. It's not a weakness, right? It's actually proof you get how serious this is.
Okay, so it's a sign you understand the stakes. How do you deal with it then? Strategically.
Strategically, exactly, not just clinically. So yes, obviously, start with simpler cases, commit to CE, lifelong learning, all that. But the really crucial bit, actively seek out mentorship.
Like finding a senior dentist.
Yeah, but not just someone to check your crown preps. You need someone who can, help you see the pitfalls, the predatory contracts, the financial traps you might run into in those first few years. It's about wisdom, not just technical skill.
Okay, that makes sense. And building that confidence proactively helps fight off burnout, right? I think the sources mention a kind of vicious cycle.
Oh, absolutely. It's dangerous. Low confidence makes you hesitate. Hesitation means procedures take longer.
Which makes you more anxious.
Exactly. And more tired. So you're depleted, physically and mentally, which, guess what? Tanks your confidence even further. Round and round it goes.
So how do you break that?
You have to prioritize self-care, but through efficiency, not just, taking bubble baths, though that might help too.
Right. Efficiency how?
Master your practice management software, not just for billing, but for optimizing your schedule. Use those AI scheduling tools maybe, not to cram more people in, but to build in mandatory 15-minute cool-down breaks after stressful procedures.
Okay, buffer time.
Buffer time. And learning to delegate effectively. Morning huddles aren't just for reviewing cases. They're for empowering your team to handle the admin stuff, so you're only doing the things that absolutely require your license. Saying no to overbooking is part of that too.
Got it. Protect your focus. So once you've shored up the internal stuff, you face outwards, towards the patient relationship. Technical skill gets you in the door, but trust. That's the real currency.
It absolutely is. Trust defines your career long term. And it starts with genuine transparency and empathy.
Which means?
It means really adopting what the source calls a listen-first approach. Before you even put gloves on, before you pick up a mirror, dedicate real time to active listening. What are their goals? What bad experiences have they had? What are they really worried about?
Right. There was that example in the source material, the elite athlete.
Yeah, powerful example. The dentist initially kind of dismissed her tiny aesthetic concerns as just vanity. But then, by actually listening, they understood her entire livelihood depended on those super subtle details for her performance. Suddenly, the clinical plan wasn't just about teeth. It connected directly to her core motivation.
And that kind of personalization, that's what patients expect now, isn't it? They're more informed.
Way more informed. And they expect things to be easy. Digital, online booking, digital forms, text reminders. That's just table stakes now.
Technology can help with the transparency part too, right? Like showing them things.
Definitely. Use simple language, ditch the jargon, and absolutely use visual tools. Intraoral photos are huge. Or even some of the AI tools that can highlight areas of concern on an x-ray.
So they see what you see.
Exactly. When the patient can visualize the problem and understand why you're recommending something, they become part of the process. They're kind of co-diagnosing with you. They have ownership.
And connecting this back, these soft skills, listening, communicating clearly, they're not just nice to haves. They actually boost the bottom line.
Oh, profoundly. It's a direct financial multiplier. Better communication means higher case acceptance. Simple as that. It builds loyalty, so patients stick with you. That's lifetime value right there.
Plus referrals, good online reviews.
All that. And maybe most importantly, that strong relationship is your best defense against complaints or potential lawsuits. It's risk management, built on trust.
Okay, so that's a perfect segue. Since trust and communication are linked to finances, let's really look at the money side. The business x-ray, as the source calls it. And you can't talk business in dentistry without talking debt.
Oof, the debt.
Yeah.
It's crushing. There's no other word for it. And it fundamentally shapes your choices, where you work, how you work, maybe even if you own a practice.
So what's the strategic advice? Just pay it down ASAP.
Well, that's the knee-jerk reaction,
Oh,
right?
okay.
But you have to be careful. Aggressively paying down low-interest federal loans specifically might feel good, but it could be a huge mistake if it means you're not investing or building wealth elsewhere,
Oh.
because you might be sacrificing time and compounding in the market, or missing out on federal programs designed to help. You need a strategy that uses policy, not just brute force payments.
And the main policy tool seems to be these income-driven repayment plans, IDR.
Exactly. IDR plans. Step 1, absolutely critical. Consolidate your federal loans during that grace period after graduation. That gets the clock ticking on potential forgiveness and makes you eligible.
Okay, consolidate. Then you choose a plan. The main ones seem to be pay E and save.
Right. Pay as you earn and save, saving on a valuable education. The choice between them is really strategic, depends on where you see your career going.
Explain that.
Okay, so payee is often better if you're planning on, say, buying or starting a practice relatively early and expect your income to jump significantly. Why? Because the monthly payment is capped.
Capped at what?
It's capped at whatever the payment would have been on the standard 10-year plan when you first signed up. So even if your income goes through the roof later, your federal loan payment stays locked at that initial lower amount. Forgiveness is after 20 years of payments.
Okay, so pay protects you from your own future success, in a way. What about Save E?
Save E generally gives you a lower payment initially because it uses a more generous calculation of your discretionary income. And the really big deal with Say, it covers any unpaid monthly interest.
Meaning the loan balance doesn't grow? No negative amortization?
Exactly. Huge benefit, especially if your payments are low early on. But, and this is key, Save E has no payment cap. So if you're, say, a career associate and your income grows steadily over time, your Save payment will grow with it and could eventually become higher than the 10-year standard payment. Forgiveness is after 25 years for graduate loans.
So Save E is maybe better for high debt-to-income folks needing immediate payment relief and protection against interest, while Pay E is better for future high earners aiming for practice ownership.
That's a pretty good summary, yeah. It's about matching the plan to your likely income trajectory.
Then what about just refinancing everything privately to get a lower interest rate? Seems tempting.
It is tempting, but it's what our source calls the refinancing trap. You get that lower rate, sure, but it's an irreversible decision. You permanently lose all federal protections, no IDR, no chance of forgiveness, no access to forbearance if you hit a rough patch.
That flexibility seems crucial early on.
It's invaluable. You don't know what the future holds. Don't trade that flexibility for a slightly lower rate,
Yeah.
especially not early in your career.
Okay. And this whole debt situation, it's actually fueling the rise of DSOs, right? Dental service organizations.
Absolutely. The need for a stable, predictable income to service that massive debt, that has become the single most powerful recruiting tool for corporate dentistry. It's accelerating that whole shift.
Which brings us to that big decision point. Go work for a DSO or try to stay in or eventually own a private practice. There seems to be a lot of skepticism about DSOs sometimes. Is it warranted, that idea that push volume over care?
Look, there are elements of truth in that narrative, but it's definitely more nuanced. The DSO value proposition is real. Security. Predictable salary, benefits, someone else handles the headaches of billing, HR, marketing.
It sounds pretty good.
It can be.
Yeah.
Especially coming out of school with huge debt. But the trade-off is usually less autonomy. You might have less say in materials, lab choices, scheduling protocols, and generally, your long-term earning potential is lower than if you owned. Corporate structures often do emphasize metrics, which can feel like pressure towards volume.
Okay, versus private practice.
Private practice is the opposite, really. High risk, high reward. You have total control over the clinical philosophy, the patient experience, the team culture, everything. The potential financial upside is much higher, plus you're building equity, an actual asset you can sell someday. But you carry all the risk. The startup costs, the loans, the payroll, the marketing, the leaky faucet in the staff bathroom. It's all on you. Income can be variable, especially at first.
So it's not a clear one is better.
Not at all. And honestly, the future probably isn't even that black and white. We're seeing more hybrid models emerge. Things like DSO partnership deals that try to offer the corporate scale and support, but let the dentist keep some autonomy, maybe even some ownership stake. The lines are blurring.
Interesting. And all this is happening while technology is just exploding. The source mentions 87% of patients care about modern tech. Staying current isn't optional anymore.
Not even close. And we're not just talking about digital x-rays. We're talking about AI fundamentally changing diagnostics.
How so? Like actually reading the x-rays better than a human.
In some ways, yeah. AI algorithms are getting incredibly good, like superhumanly accurate at detecting subtle signs of things like caries, period disease, even early oral cancer, potentially years before the human eye reliably would.
Wow. That has huge implications.
Massive. You could argue it might even shift the legal standard of care eventually. Like if an AI could have caught something and you didn't use the AI, that's a potential issue.
Okay, that's profound. What else? 3D printing.
Big one. Enables same-day crowns, surgical guides, clear aligners, all made right there in the office. Gives the clinician incredible control over the final product.
But that means learning new skills, right? Like
Yep.
CAD/CAM software.
Exactly. Your time shifts. Less time taking GUI impressions and writing lab scripts, more time designing digitally and finishing the restoration yourself. It changes the workflow completely.
So if AI is handling more diagnostics and 3D printing is handling more fabrication, what does that mean for the dentist's role long term? Are we becoming button pushers?
That's the fear, but I think the reality is a shift in value. If technology commoditizes the purely technical tasks, the drilling and filling, then the dentist's core value moves up the chain.
To what?
To being the comprehensive oral health manager, your unique value isn't just fixing teeth, it's the human stuff. Building trust, understanding the whole patient, creating personalized long-term health plans, providing empathy. Things technology enhances but can't replace.
The human element again.
Always comes back to that.
Okay, let's pivot to that third pillar, the social contract and public perception. This is about dealing with the world outside the operatory, starting with something everyone apparently experiences, the cocktail party consultation.
Oh, yeah. It's going to happen, guaranteed. Someone corners you by the dep asking, hey, do I really need to floss? Or worse, could you just, take a quick peek at this weird spot on my gum?
Huh. So what do you do?
Have a plan. The advice is pretty clear. Be gracious, maybe offer some general educational info, but absolutely do not offer a specific diagnosis that's unethical and risky.
So you need a polite refusal line ready.
You need a practice line, something like, I'd love to help properly, but for legal and ethical reasons, I can only really assess things when you're actually a patient in my chair with all the right equipment and records.
Yeah.
Happy to schedule you, though. Redirect to a proper appointment.
Got it. And beyond just free advice, there's the whole cultural baggage dentists carry, right? The fear factor.
Huge factor. Dentistry gets a bad rap in pop culture. Thinking Nemo or Little Shop of Horrors. So patients often come in already apprehensive.
And they express that fear in weird ways, like jokes or myths.
Totally. You'll hear the hyperbole, oh, I'd rather give birth again than have this root canal. Or strange beliefs like pregnancy sucking the calcium out of teeth.
How should you react to that? It must get old.
It probably does get old. But the key insight from the sources is treat those comments diagnostically, not personally. Don't get defensive. See them as windows into the patient's fear or misinformation.
An opportunity.
An opportunity, a chance to respond with empathy, provide clear education, and actually start to rewrite that negative public narrative, one patient interaction at a time.
That's a powerful frame. And this social contract, it goes beyond just patient interactions, right?
Yeah, it includes a broader professional duty. Things like advocating for public health, maybe mentoring new grads, ensuring access to care for underserved folks. It's part of being in a profession with such high stakes.
Okay, one last crucial point on this section, burnout. How does public perception link to burnout?
It's an early warning system. Pay attention to how you feel about those repetitive questions or dentist jokes over time. If stuff you brushed off or even found funny early in your career starts to genuinely irritate you,
Uh-oh.
that's a red flag. It might signal that your well of professional empathy is running low. It's a sign you need to proactively check your work-life balance, maybe take that vacation, reconnect with why you started before cynicism really digs in.
Wow, okay. That's a really useful diagnostic for yourself. So let's try to pull this all together. For someone listening, maybe just starting out or feeling overwhelmed, what are the core takeaways? What do they need to do Monday morning?
Right. Okay, distilled down.
Yeah.
1, take care of yourself first. Manage your energy, use efficiency tools, build those buffers. 2, build your practice, whether associate or owner, on the rock-solid currency of trust. Listen first. 3, manage your finances, especially that debt, strategically. Use the IDR plans. Don't just panic pay. Avoid the refinancing trap.
And embrace the tech.
Embrace the tech, yes, but see it as a tool that elevates your role. Use AI. Use 3D printing to enhance your ability to be that compassionate leader, that comprehensive health manager.
It really is a privilege, isn't it? When you step back from the stress and the debt, the ability to take away pain, restore function, fight disease, give someone confidence back.
It's immense. That core value proposition, helping people live healthier, more confident lives, that's why you go through all the hard stuff. Never lose sight of that privilege.
So maybe the final thought for you, the listener, is this. Being a good clinician, technically sound, that's the baseline now. The real challenge, the ultimate charge, is to look beyond that. With technology handling more of the mechanics, how will you master the why behind the what's? How will you leverage AI and digital tools not to replace, but to amplify your most human skills? Empathy, leadership, strategic thinking, and that commitment to lifelong learning. That's the future you need to build.